Hello everyone and welcome to this week's Everton show. The Blues left it late, didn't they, against Manchester United last Sunday. But in the event, I think everyone inside Goodison Park would agree that a share of the spoils was just about right on the balance of play. Everyone, that is, apart from Jose Mourinho, I'm sure. I'm also sure that Graham Stuart alongside me this week is very much of the opinion that Everton thoroughly deserved the late equaliser.
Yeah, I think so. Pressure situation for Leighton, 89th minute to put a penalty away, but I think, yeah, on the balance of play and chances and what have you, we certainly had the lion's share of the chances. But you would also say that Manchester United were pretty dominant in the first half, I think.
David De Gea was the busier of the two keepers, undoubtedly.
He was. He made a couple of terrific saves. I mean, the save off Kevin Morales was outstanding. I'm not so sure how much he knew about that, but no, it was a good comeback from us second half. You know, again, we were disappointed in that first half, but at least the lad showed a bit of character again in that second half.
Yeah, 1-1 was just about right, and we'll have more reaction from the Manchester United game coming up very shortly. And of course, we'll be looking ahead to Watford later in the programme. Here's a flavour of this week's Everton show.
It was good to get the point today. It's important. You know, it was a hard moment for us. We don't win. So today is good, and I think it will be good. Give us a good confidence for the next game.
I think the crowd here are very knowledgeable about their football. They know the referees. They know when a referee's having a good day or a bad day.
Been waiting to get back playing again. I've been playing for 21 months, but just wanted to get back playing again, so it's good that I got back on.
My father's from Hungary. He always told me that look at Imre Verade, he's a good player. So I've been an Everton fan since '75. So this is my heart, yeah.
As I say, everyone still mentions it to me now about that night at Anfield. So something that I'll cherish forever.
Does he ever mention it in the office?
All the time. All the time.
Well, it's fairly safe to suggest that relief rather than celebration was the overwhelming emotion amongst the supporters at Goodison Park on Sunday afternoon, and Ronald Koeman agreed that Leighton Baines' late equaliser was a just reward for an improved Everton performance.
It was minimum what we took out of the game. Good team performance, difficult of course. I think from the start in the game the team was well organised, make it difficult. They did not create any big chances. And of course a big mistake cost the 1-0, but I think the second half we showed a lot of belief, we showed a lot of fight in the team and to get a better result, and finally by the penalty, we got finally at least 1 point, what we deserved today.
Were you pleased with the intensity from the boys today?
Yeah, very good. I think it's always difficult. You see in some moments in the game, you see maybe a little bit lack of confidence on the ball, and then it's always difficult. 1-0 down, they defending well, and we defending well. Maybe they had one big chance to score the second goal, but we pushed till the last second for a better result, and we deserved.
It was a pressure penalty, wasn't it?
Yeah, we had a lot of players around the box, in the box. We had some good football in the last part of attacking, and it's a big decision of the referee. You can complain if it's yes or not penalty, but also maybe you can discuss about if it's a yellow or a red card of rojo, and that decisions are very difficult for the referee, and finally I think it's a fair result.
And Valencia was nice and lively, wasn't he, when he came on?
Yeah, he was good. He was strong. He made it difficult. Was really that support for Romelu what we needed after the 1-0 down, and he had a big impact in the game, and that's what you like of substitutes, that they will have that impact.
As did Mason Holgate when he came on. He defended smashing, didn't he?
Yeah, very good. Mason was really straight in the game and defending well, and that was very good because it's always difficult. Also for young players to come in, he did not have really that warming up to get in, but he did it fantastic.
Well, as I've mentioned on the Everton show before, one of my post-match duties is to escort the man of the match into a couple of corporate lounges to receive his prizes. That journey from the dressing room to the 1985 and 1878 lounges is one that Idrissa Gueye is certainly getting used to. The little fellow was the star man yet again on Sunday and was pleased with the team's response to going behind against Manchester United.
It was a good game. You know, it was hard to play against a team like United, and we play well today in the second half, and that's why we scored the goal and we got 1 point. So we keep going and stay focused for the next game.
The manager said that he was very pleased with the intensity, the attitude of the players today.
Yeah, we like the intensity too for the second half, and that's why we need for all game, for all the rest of the championship. And now we have to work hard on the training ground and to play good on the weekend.
Do you enjoy that sort of challenge, playing directly against a player like Paul Pogba?
Yeah, I enjoy. But you know, Pogba or another player, all the time I enjoy playing football with my team, and I enjoy winning games. But today we have 1 point and we are happy.
Certain people think Marcus Rocco could have been sent off for his two-footed challenge on you. What was your take on it?
I don't see the image, but if they say that maybe he will get the red card, I don't know.
David De Gea was certainly the busier of the two goalkeepers, wasn't he?
Yeah, we try a lot, and we have a lot of opportunity to score today. We give him a lot of job to do, and we have to be more efficacious for the next time.
What will that do for the confidence of the players to come back and get a point?
It was good to get the point today. It's important. You know, it was a hard moment for us. We don't win, so today is good, and I think it will be good. Give us a good confidence for the next game.
Graham, little Idrissa was terrific again against Manchester United, up against Paul Pogba, but he was lucky to still be on the pitch because the challenge on Idrissa by Marcus Rocco was scandalous.
Yeah, I mean, Idrissa's very lucky that he came out of it unscathed, and Rocco's lucky that he stayed on the pitch. So it was one of them challenges. I mean, we all sort of sat back and braced ourselves because we knew what was coming. But it was a severe tackle by the Manchester United defender, and he's a lucky man.
And the FA can't take retrospective action because the referee saw it and deemed it a yellow card. That can't be right, can
Well,
it?
it can't be right. I mean, you think with all the technology we got, you know, they should still be able to go back and retrospectively give him a red card for it. But the law is that the referee's deemed to have seen it, and his judgment was that it was a yellow card. But take nothing away from Idrissa bouncing back after that, you know, challenge. His general performance all round was excellent.
Again, it usually is. Well, Ronald Koeman has already shown this season that he has absolutely no intention of shying away from big decisions. If the boss thinks it will help the team, he'll change things around. And on Sunday, it was Phil Jagielka who found himself sitting on the bench. His replacement, Ramiro Mori, had a steady enough game, and Ramiro is now looking forward to trying to cement a regular place in the first team.
Yeah, it's been a while, you know, since I don't play, but you know, I have to wait for my chance and you know, to be a part of the team, and now this game I went in, and a nice game to play, and always try to do my best in or out the pitch.
How did it feel? Was it easy for you to slot back in there, did you think?
Well, you know, it's hard to get the rhythm of the game. You know, it's a tough one, and you know, Manchester United is a good team, so and they have a really good tempo of the game, so I feel a little bit tired at the end, but you know, I just have to get more games and playing time.
How difficult was it to try and look after a player like Ibrahimovic?
Yeah, I think he's the top player, not just him, but the quality of the Manchester United squad is really good. Individually, they have really good players. You know, Pogba, Martial. I think they're great players. So we did a great game, and you know, it's a draw. Obviously, we don't like to lose or join games. We want to win, and especially at home. But you know, it's not about result.
Are you looking forward to getting some more playing time under your belt in the next few weeks now?
Yeah, obviously. I think you know, every time I want to be in the starting 11. You know, for some reasons I wasn't starting, but other than that, I have to focus and keep training, and I get my opportunity like today.
Starting with your captain, Phil Jagielka, on the bench was another big call from the gaffer. He's not afraid of them, is he?
Well, no, I mean, it's tough on Phil. But, you know, he's man enough to take it. I doubt very much whether he'll be happy about it. But perhaps Ronald's thinking was, you know, Ibrahimovic is a huge size and Ramiro up against him was probably a better match. But, you know, he's got plenty of character, Jags, and he'll be bounced back. There's no doubt about that in my eyes.
I'm sure he will. And that's just about it for part one of this week's programme. After a short break, we'll move down the age groups when we bring you the latest highlights and some reaction from the games involving our under-18s and the under-23s. Welcome back to part two of this week's show. Under the spotlight now are the young players who are bang in form for under-18s and our under-23s. We'll start with David Unsworth boys, who beat Portsmouth 3-1 on Monday night in the Premier League Cup at Southport.
Everton under-23s are in pole position in their Premier League Cup group after a 3-1 win over Portsmouth on Monday. David Unsworth's men are top of the 14 group, but do have 3 away games to come. Dominic Calvert-Lewin set the young Blues on their way to victory at Southport with a well-taken goal on the quarter hour. The forward latching on to Kieran Dowell's pass and finishing well. John Joe Kenny saw a penalty saved in the second half, but moments later it was 2-0 when Portsmouth defender Tom Davis put the ball into his own net. And just 2 minutes after that, it was 3-0. Harry Charsley seized possession and centred for Callum Dyson to hoover up the chance, powerfully heading home. Pompey sub Harvey Bradbury pulled a goal back late on, but the result wasn't in doubt.
Against a different type of football tonight, especially second half when Portsmouth were very good. They caused us a few problems with the long ball, but you know, good goals we scored at good times, and should have probably been a few more, but it was a good performance on a very cold night, I have to say.
Quite a strong Portsmouth side, but there's so much confidence in your group that they can just handle any challenge.
Yeah, I thought Portsmouth were great. I thought they played really well, and a lot of respect goes to them, and they did. They played a very strong team, and but you know, we would expect to beat any team the way that we can perform. And some of our play tonight was excellent. I thought Kieran Dowell was back to his best, playing as a number 10. Delighted for Kieran. He's stuck in there, and some of his play tonight was superb. So it was great. Dominic, I thought, was a real threat, and I thought Tom Davis was the best player on the pitch. He was outstanding.
They just keep rolling on, don't they, David Unsworth's under-23s?
Yeah, he's doing something right, isn't he, Dave? No, I mean, they've been terrific. I've seen a lot of the under-23s this season, and they've got some good players there. They've got a confidence throughout the camp. They work hard, and you know, certainly Unzi expects high standards from them.
Lovely finish by Dominic Calvert-Lewin. You like the look of him, Graham, don't you?
Yeah, I do. I like him. I think he's got a good chance. You know, he's come in from Sheffield United. We've paid a few quid for him, but he's proving that he's a good player. He's got a terrific goal against Manchester City a couple of weeks ago, left foot volley, and he's followed that up Monday night with a good goal and a really composed finish against Portsmouth there.
The thing I like about Dominic when I've seen him is that he's not afraid to do the ugly side of centre-forward play, and that's refreshing to see in a young centre-forward.
Well, of course it is. I mean, first port of call, you've got to work hard. You know, work hard for your team, be a mantle, get that ball's got to stick as it comes up. Bring other people into the game, and then obviously when you get presented with opportunities, compose yourself and make sure to hit the back of the net. He looks to be the full package for me.
Some people say, why not throw these kids in? The first team are not in a good run of form at the moment. Let's throw the kids in, but it's not as easy as that, is it?
Well, no, it's not as easy. But I mean, obviously the level is totally different, in Premier League especially. And you know, they're still developing, these young men. I think it's refreshing, obviously, to throw them in every so often, but there's a time to throw them in, and maybe that's not when the team aren't playing with a great deal of confidence. So in an ideal world, you want to give these kids a run out when we're flying high.
One or two might go out on loan as well, might they, in January?
I mean, if they do, that's great. That's good for them to play competitive football and learn their trade out there as well.
It's always an option. Well, on to the under-18s now, and Kevin Sheed, these lads have probably forgotten what it's like to lose a game of football. The young Toffees haven't been beaten in the league since the end of August, and last Saturday's 2-0 win against Derby County kept them very much in the playoff zone.
Everton under-18s extended their unbeaten run to 11 games with a comfortable 2-0 win at Derby County last weekend. Having enjoyed the best of the first half play, Everton took the lead 3 minutes before the break, when Shane Lavery capitalised on an Anthony Evans through ball. Continuing their dominance after half-time, Sheedy's men then doubled their lead on 67 minutes. Danny Bramall inventively beating the goalkeeper after a short corner. The under-18s have one final league game before the Christmas break against Stoke City at Finch Farm on Saturday.
Just like the under-23s, the under-18s bandwagon just keeps rolling on. They keep winning games. They haven't lost since the end of August, and no wonder Sheeds is in good form. We were with him, weren't we, earlier this week at a boardroom event, and he was in good form.
He was in good form, Sheeds, and obviously it's running through the camp, right from the manager down. And no, he enjoyed himself, and it was great to catch up with Sheeds. He's a class act. He's very passionate about the under-18s as well, and his side are doing terrifically well, and long may that continue.
There was yourself and Snods, Sharpie, Unzi, Joe Royal and Sheeds, and some of the stories at the boardroom event were terrific, weren't they?
Oh, it was great. I mean, the idea was to give some of the people there an experience of what it's like in the boardroom. Between courses, we jumped up in pairs, obviously, and I told a few stories, and it was a really, really good atmosphere and lovely food. Nice wine. Sheeds led from the front. It was all very, very good, enjoyable. Yeah, it was a great night.
You could listen to Joe Royal all night. Right, we'll round off the second part of this week's programme by hearing now from one of the most respected referees of the Premier League era. Mark Halsey was well liked by managers, players and most of the time by supporters as well when he was the man in the middle. Mark was back on Merseyside last weekend as a guest of the football club, and he clearly still enjoys visiting one of his favourite Premier League stadiums.
It goes back, I think, when I first got in the Premier League. I remember my first ever game as a referee was against Chelsea, and I sent off Frank Leboeuf for 2 yellow cards, and I think the fans took me into their hearts when I got rid of a Chelsea player. So, over the years I've made some very good friends here. I think the crowd here are very knowledgeable about their football. They know the referees. They know when a referee's having a good day or a bad day. And most of all, the passion they show here, it's a great atmosphere, and I've always said this is one of the most hostile grounds to come and referee at. And the thing that I love about Everton, I mean, I've always been fond of Everton because it's a great football club, it's a great people's club, and the fans from this club live in Liverpool. It's not like Liverpool where they come from all over the world to watch the games, or like it's the same in Manchester. You've got United that come all over the world, and you've got Man City fans come from Manchester. So it's great, and the passion here. The fan shows it lifts referees. It lifts referees, and you daren't have a bad game here in front of this lot, especially a referee.
Do you hear everything that's said then with the stands being so close to the pitch?
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, when the games stop, you do hear what's going on. But when you're fully concentrated and you're fully focused, you don't really hear what's going on. It's only when the games stop and you sort of relax, and you just relax that your concentration. You hear. So, but you certainly hear some words, as you know, you don't know what you're doing. But luckily for me, I didn't get that often here. So I loved coming here all the time. It was great.
Would you say then you had a good rapport with the Everton fans?
Yeah, I did. I did, to be fair. I think in fairness, I think they liked the way I referee. I wasn't one for a centre of attention. I wasn't one to brandish out red and yellow cards. It's not about the referee, it's about the fans and about the players. And they come here, it's an entertainment business. They come here to see a good game. And if I could stay out of it, then I was happy. And I think that's what a referee should be doing.
Just seeing you then, you were shouting over to Sharpie, the groundsman Bob Lennon. You know so many people here.
Yeah, I mean, as I say, over the years, I've made some great friends here, and it's a pleasure to come back here today. You know, if I'm looking back over the years, I mean, it was well documented about my cancer, my illness. My last game, when I had to take that absence of leave to fight my illness, was Everton-Arsenal. Obviously, you know, the Blues didn't get a good result that day. And as I say, I thought that was my last ever game. You know, knowing refereeing that game, knowing that I was in hospital on Monday having a tumour removed. And then obviously coming back, Everton asked me back to referee a pre-season friendly. I got myself fit back into the Premier League after being told I may not survive or I would never referee again. So that was great. And you know, being asked to come out and referee in their pre-season friendly against Everton Chile was a pleasure. And the standing ovation I got from the fans when I entered the pitch it's something that lived with me for the rest of my life, because, you know, as I say, it's a fantastic football club. It's an absolutely fantastic football club, and it's always a pleasure to come back here.
Mark Halsey was one of the better referees, wasn't he, in his day?
He was. I mean, he was one of those ones you could have a little bit of banter with. I mean, you could. I mean, I was terrible, me. I used to moan at referees left, right, and centre, but he'd chirp back at you, and in the end, you'd have a good laugh about it, shake hands at the end, and it was all forgotten.
And he sent you off.
He did send me off. Yeah. I mean, he sent me off. I was actually playing for Charlton against Leeds. I think Snods might have had a word with him getting me sent off against Leeds. But I produced a little naughty tackle on Ian Hart, and he squealed and rolled round like it was the worst challenge he's ever had in his life. And Mark was a little bit lively with the red card, I thought, but we've laughed about it since.
It sounds like you had to go, to be fair.
Probably, but just about. But I mean, as I say, I always say to him, first thing I always say to him, I said, you sent me off, remember, and all that sort of stuff. But he's a good character.
Yeah.
Fantastic that he recovered from his cancer as well. That was great for him. And no, it was good to see him. We always have a laugh. He actually refereed a charity game that I played in a few months ago as well. So he's still there and thereabouts, you know, running around, keeping himself fit.
And his affection for Everton Football Club is genuine.
It is genuine, yeah. I mean, you could see it in his voice there. You know, you see it in his face. You know, how much affection he has for the football club. And as he mentioned, the standing ovation that the crowd gave him as well. And the fans are going to love him even more after what he said about Liverpool as well.
One of the game's good guys, Mark Halsey. And that's the end of part 2. We'll show you a few more adverts right now. And in part 3, our big interview vacancy is filled by 3 of our academy coaches, Paul Tate, John Doolan and Phil Jevons. Welcome back. Now, being told by your football club that your services are no longer required must be heartbreaking for a young player. That moment when you're informed that your coaches don't think you've got what it takes and that, in short, you're being released. Well, it happened to Paul Tate, Phil Jevons and John Doolan at the various stages of their fledgling careers, but they bounced back, not only to carve out very good professional playing careers, but they also worked their way back to Everton Football Club as full-time academy coaches. Paul Tate tells us how his Everton story began all those years ago.
Initially it was just in the school holidays and things, travelling down, normally with different lads from the northeast, and we used to all stay in digs together, and lads from Ireland, stuff like that, and then started my scholarship, my YTS it was called then, at 16 when I left school.
I started off playing for Liverpool schoolboys to school and coming to Everton when I was 14. I was in charge of set-up, so I had to carry all the old big cast iron goals at Belfield 3 or 4 times a day.
Stands you in good stead, you know. I remember coming in and one of my first jobs as a first year YTS was doing the boot skip for the first team on match days. So the pressure was on to get that right, and could you imagine getting that wrong and one of the first team players not having the right boots? So yeah, no, it's all part of the process of becoming a man. I was lucky enough to get my opportunity in the first team. It was difficult. I had good players in front of me like Michael Branch and Danny Cadamachi and Francis Jeffers all make the debuts before me, but I stuck with it and ended up getting in there, and it was a great experience.
What was it like for you, Paul, when you were told that you weren't going to make it at Everton Football Club?
It was heartbreaking at the time, because I thought I was doing really well as well. It come as a little bit of a surprise. It was Mike Walker who told me at the time that he didn't think I had a future at the club. And it was actually the day after we stayed up, the famous game against Wimbledon. It was the day after he told me. So I've gone from the elation of us staying up and having a fantastic day that day to that news the next day. But it's important that you bounce back quickly, I think, especially I'd say that now for the young players I'm working with. It's important to move on as quick as possible and look to what you're going to do next. I never wanted to give up because I had self-confidence and I thought I could make a living somewhere and I could play somewhere.
Again, Mike Walker. Mine was...
That was one of his better decisions, that one.
Mine was a year after Paul, well, more or less half a year after Paul. I was halfway through a contract when he told me, like, lucky enough I got a second chance. Colin Harvey had left just before me and gone to Mansfield. So straight away he rang me up and just said, get down here. So I had no hesitations in going down. I signed the next day. So I had no time really to wallow in self-pity or anything like that. It was a case of, right, get your gear, get down here and let's crack on.
I mean, I'd been in the round of 30 for 3 years at the point when I left, and I'd only had 9 appearances over that period and was playing regularly for the reserves and scoring and doing well and getting interest. And it was just one of them where Walter Smith pulled me in and said, look, you know, we're going to offer you a new contract, but I can't guarantee that next season's going to be the same as the previous 3. So when Grimsby come in, they were in the Championship then and it was for money, so I thought I can go there and go and start my career.
The decision was made, an 18-year-old lad, we're releasing you because you're not strong enough. No, thankfully times have moved on now. Players get more time to develop, and you know, some don't become men until 23, 24, some players. So, you know, when I look back and I look at the decision then yeah. But, you know, there's no regrets. You know, what happened, and luckily enough I was able to still have a professional career.
And tell us about your big night at Grimsby.
I'm presuming you mean the goal against Liverpool at Anfield in the League Cup? Yeah. On the night itself, we were actually getting battered for basically the whole game, and our goalie had a worldie, and you know, we were just digging in really, and then we were getting towards penalties, and the ball dropped to me so nice that I just thought, I'll just smash this towards the goal and hope for the best, you know. And even if it flies over the bar, we'll waste a bit of time and get to penalties. And when it dropped and flew in the top corner, you know, it was just unbelievable. The scenes, you know, the fans, and as I say, everyone still mentions it to me now about that night at Anfield. So something that I'll cherish forever.
Does he ever mention it in the office?
All the time. All the time.
When did you start thinking about becoming a coach?
Very early, actually. 21. So I was playing and I had to drop down. So I was a player who had to drop down into non-league. I was playing for Northwich. And I was suddenly in a position where I had to earn some extra money. So I had an opportunity to start my own soccer school in McGull. So that gave me the insight into coaching early.
Mine was late. I didn't start mine until I was about 29. My coaching badges, and really I was coming up towards the end, the last year of my contract at Rochdale, that I started coming into Everton and just doing it voluntary with the lads. And when I packed in playing 2008, I was part-time, so I had to go and get another job. So lucky enough, Alan Irvine gave us a full-time job. So that was it really when it kick-started it all for me. I think what most of the lads will do, and I think here we'll all pick the good out of every manager that you've played for, and they were all different class. All the managers I played for were all really good man-to-man managers, I thought.
One of the things that you pick up as a coach working through the different age groups is how you speak to them differently. You know, you wouldn't speak to an under 9 the way you'd speak to an under 16 and under 18. So it is a challenge and something that you pick up along the way. But the second, what John says, you know, is as your career goes on, you do start to think about the real world, especially if you haven't made millions and millions of pounds out of the game. And I remember Mick O'Brien, who was our captain of the youth team, was coaching here, and he called me in and he phoned me up and said, "Do you fancy coming in and having a look and see what you think?" And you know, the philosophy of the club and the way we are as Evertonians runs right through the club.
Obviously, you can tell by my accent I'm a Geordie, but I've been here 20 odd years, and when I came back to the Northwest at the end of my career, when I got the phone call to come back to Everton, it was just unbelievable. It was a dream come true. To go from playing and then straight into a full-time coaching job at Everton was fantastic. So now my lad who's 7, getting the chance to take him to Goodison every week, and you know, he's a blue now. He gets Newcastle kits sent in the post off my dad, but they go straight in the bottom drawer, and he's a real blue, so really good.
You've all been released at one stage or another, and it must be very difficult as a coach. You're in that situation now to tell players that they're getting let go.
I think you've just got to be honest more than anything with the kids, and I think it's hard because we're letting young lads go and 15, 16, 17, and you're basically killing their dream, aren't you? You're telling them that they're not going to be a footballer, but I think ultimately we're only telling them that they're not going to be a footballer for Everton. We're not actually saying that they're never going to be a footballer. And we do see a lot of our lads playing non-league or even going into the league. Just watching the FA Cup on Friday night, there was 2 lads there, Ryan Ledson and Paul Lewis, who we'd let go and who are now forging good careers for themselves. So the decisions are hard when you're making them, and it must have been hard for the managers who were letting you go.
For the likes of us who've been in that position before, we know what that feeling's like, and we know how much it hurts. So I think we've got a real passion as a coaching staff, and that includes everyone, to make sure that we give these boys the best opportunity possible to make it. And if they don't make it here at Everton, like John says, then we've hopefully developed a person that's strong enough to go and have a career elsewhere.
Obviously, we've got a lot of talented lads in the academy now who we work with at the different age groups, and you know, we want to see them playing Everton's first team. That's why we're all here, to develop them for Everton's first team. But like he says, Phil, second to that is a career in football, and hopefully we can pass on some of the knowledge that we get. So you're on about learning from managers and helping you make decisions. I think you learn from situations even more. So being dropped, not being selected, being injured, you know, these type of things that challenge you as a young footballer. We've all been there.
Still enjoying it every day?
Love it, yeah. Yeah, couldn't ask for more. Made up that that'll come back and now working here alongside these lads and with the players that we're working with.
Yeah, I love it. Living the dream.
Very lucky. Very lucky.
Great lads, all three of them, pals of ours down at Finch Farm, and the perfect example to a young boy who does get released by Everton or any Premier League club. It's not necessarily the end of the road.
No, it's not. I enjoyed listening to the lads. Got to say it, I think they spoke very, very well, and they explained the situation where, you know, the modern day it's becoming incredibly hard to get into the first team, irrespective of how good you are as a young player. So I think for more and more players, the downside is you might not make it at Everton or Arsenal or Tottenham, but you can still carve out a good living. You know, lower league football now, you know, is still a good standard. And a lot of these players might have to drop down to maybe come back up again.
And John Doolan was there when you were there, probably cleaned your boots.
I don't think he did, because my boots are always dirty, Daz. I tell you, I don't know, I can't remember who my boot boy was, but he should have got sacked. But no, I mean, John was there as a young lad, as was Tatey and Jevo as well. Yeah. I mean, and building a way through the ranks, and so they've seen the flip side to it. They've seen the hard times. They've had the heartbreak of being told that they're not going to make it at Everton, but they've had the character, you know, to progress and make a living out of the game. And you know, I like the fact that they all turn around and say, you know, the best thing is that it was a dream come true to come back to Everton. Yeah. And that's what you've got running through Finch Farm now. Plenty of good Evertonians teaching our kids.
The DNA of the club goes right through the training facility. And that's us for part 3 of this week's programme. Coming up in the 4th and final segment, we speak to one of Diamond's 1995 FA Cup final teammates, Anders Limpar, and to the young man who came off the bench to make a big impression against Manchester United on Sunday, Mason Holgate. So don't go away. No less a judge of a player than Joe Royle has described the first interviewee of part 4 of this week's Everton show as just about the most talented individual he's ever worked with. Anders Limpar's career was rejuvenated by the arrival of Big Joe, and the popular Swede was back at the stadium he still calls home for the United game at the weekend. It's approaching 20 years since he left Everton, but Anders Limpar just loves coming back.
I mean, it means everything for me. Everybody knows that I'm a deep through toffee. I've been a toffee since I was 10 years old, mainly because of Imre Verade and Bob Letchford. You know, my heritage, my father's from Hungary. He always told me that look at Imre Verade, he's a good player. So I've been an Everton fan since '75. So this is my heart, yeah.
It must have meant so much to you then, being a fan, that you got to play for your boyhood club.
Yeah, of course. I have a funny story. You know, when I signed for Arsenal back in 1990. I had a red shirt on me, and there was like 20 reporters there. One reporter asked me, like a lot of photographers, one reporter told me, like, it must be the best moment in your career, you're an Arsenal fan. And I said, I have to disappoint you, I'm an Everton fan. I stood there with an Arsenal jersey, I'm an Everton fan. Everybody, the whole place went quiet. I played there 4 years, a great time. And when Everton signed me, I had an Everton jersey on, and the same reporter asked me, like, you must be very, very glad now because everybody knows you're a toffee. So that was one of the best moments in my life.
What do you remember about your time here in the mid-1990s?
I remember that we were a team that were creating so many chances. You know, we were an attacking team. We were not a defending team. I think we were great, actually. We won the FA Cup '95. I remember that we were unbelievable good here at Goodison. Not that great team playing away. I remember playing with great players like Neville Southall and Andrei Kanchelskis and Gueye and the Dogs of War and the rest, you know, Graham Stuart, especially Graham Stuart. So I had 3 good years here, really.
You must enjoy then coming back today to Goodison Park and seeing people like Graham Stuart who were your teammates at that time.
I mean, it's always nice to catch up, you know, with your teammates, your friends. I am well taken care of when I come to the Emirates, but it's different up here. It's more like a family here. I can't explain the feeling. It's more friendly. It's more hospitality up here. And I don't say that because it's the Everton TV. I feel more comfortable here when it comes to hospitality. You know,
yeah, it feels like home.
Yeah, it's much more friendly. You know, in one way.
And tell us a bit about what you're doing now then, Anders, because you're still involved in football over in Sweden.
Yes, I'm involved in a local League 2 side back in Sweden. We actually went up to the first to the championship, if you can call it, in Sweden. So I'm going to play that next year. So I'm a manager. I've been there for the last 9 years. So I love football, and that's my life.
Diamond, you shared many a dressing room with Anders Limpar. We know he was a terrific footballer. What was he like as a lad?
Oh, he's funny. I loved Anders. He had a great sense of humour. He was hilarious. He just made me. He's one of them people you look at and just laugh. You see what I mean? He's just got that one of those infectious faces and real good character. But as you said, a terrific footballer as well.
When we had him on one wing and Andrei Kanchelskis on the other.
Oh, as he said, plenty of chances created. I mean, it was a dream, whether it was myself and Duncan or myself or Paul Rideout up front. We knew we were going to get chances off those two. Andre was more direct and more powerful. This fella here was so tricky, and you know, he could frustrate you as well. But you know, that's wingers for you, full stop. But you guaranteed he'd create you some chances as well.
And an Evertonian as well, all thanks to Imre Varadi. Never knew that. Well, after that 1-1 draw with Manchester United on Sunday, there were more positives to take from the performance than there had been in previous weeks. One of them was another assured cameo display by Mason Holgate. The young Yorkshireman came on for the stricken Seamus Coleman, and he enjoyed being back in first-team action.
Been waiting to get back playing again. Obviously I've been playing for 21s, but just wanted to get back playing again, so it's good that I got back on as well. It wasn't as daunting as well, because I played him in pre-season in the testimonial, so must have a thing for playing against Man United.
Towards the end of the match, when you came on as a substitute, it was frantic, wasn't it? It was end-to-end, it was an open game.
Yeah, well, obviously, when I came on, we was pushing for the equaliser as well as them, so the game got very open and it was stretched, so a bit back and forward, but I thought we did well and we got on top definitely towards second half, back end at second half, and we were pushing on, got the equaliser and pushing on for more. Given the scoreline, it was 1-0 at the time. Was there any extra orders from the manager to get forward, push forward more than you perhaps normally would have done? No, not really. It all happened very quickly, obviously, with Seamus going down, so there wasn't really time for instructions. But I come into the game, obviously I've been watching, so I knew what was happening. So I knew that we were pushing for a goal, so got on anyway. Came close to scoring as well? Yeah, don't score many headed goals, so that would have been nice, but just happy that we got the equaliser. Going back to the beginning of the season when you played those 5 matches in the first team, did that help in terms of going into a big game against Manchester United as a substitute, second half, Goodison as loud as ever? Did it help settle you knowing that you had played those matches before? I wouldn't really say I was nervous anyway, just due to how quick it happened. There wasn't really time for nerves, but it helps me because I know that I'm ready to go at that level. It's not like something I haven't done before. So once I go on, I know that if I play my game, I can do it. And just look back over the last 2 or 3 months, because you've been involved in every matchday squad so far this season, and you've been an unused substitute for the last 2 or 3 months. Have you just got to make sure you're ready and prepare yourself for anything that can happen, like with Seamus going off injured? Yeah, it's difficult. Obviously, being a defender, it's more difficult as well, because if you're on the bench, unless someone's injured or there's a tactical change, you're not really gonna get used. So it's you just got to be ready for when or if the time comes, just to get straight on and try and settle into a game.
I thought Mason Holgate done smashing when he came on.
He didn't put a foot wrong. Pressurised situation for him as well, because you know, obviously we were pushing forward as much as we possibly could to try and get ourselves that equaliser, which, you know, in itself leaves you open to the counter attack. But Mason came on and was absolutely outstanding. I think there was one challenge he made in the box with about 10 minutes to go, that was absolutely outstanding, the time of it. So, you know, really, really good. Impressed with him.
Mason came on for Seamus Coleman, who we hope will be okay for the weekend, but somebody who won't be is obviously Yannick Bolasie, and we'll miss him.
Yeah, it's a shame for Yannick because obviously when you first come to a football club, you want to settle down as quickly as possible and then look to impress people. But it's a difficult injury. The cruciate, it looks like 6 months. I mean, I've had the injury myself, and it's a long haul to come back from. It's a difficult injury, but you know, I mean, years and years ago, it used to be a career-threatening thing, but not now. I mean, there's no worries from that concern. But he's just got to get the operation and just get the physios working on him and try and get that leg straight as soon as you possibly can. But it's a long road back. But he'll get everybody's support at the football club.
Very quickly, Watford at Vicarage Road. Is it a must-win game?
I think it's important that we start to win again. Let's put it that way. So in that respect, yes, because we're in a bit of a rut of not getting any wins, and the quicker we can get out of that, the better, especially with 2 home games against Arsenal and Liverpool after that.
Not an easy place to go to, Vicarage Road. Right, the middle section of the Premier League table is beginning to really tighten up now. There's only 2 points separating Everton and Watford ahead of Saturday's lunchtime game at Vicarage Road. The Hornets have lost their last 2, but Ronald Koeman knows that anything Everton get from the game will need to be earned the hard way. Here are the thoughts of the Everton manager ahead of the game.
We know Watford at home is a difficult team to beat. They are strong, they're defensively strong, good organisation. More a team who likes to play the counter-attack than to have really that type of ball position, and starts always to be prepared for winning second balls. They play direct. We know the qualities of Dini, and we know the qualities of the players around the strikers. And it's a difficult, but okay, we know every game is difficult. I think they had really a very positive first season in the league. They had a good start in this season as well. Maybe like we dropped some points in the last few games, but still, I think they are on a good position on the table in this league. What for Watford is a good position.
2 huge home games coming up after this one. With that in mind, how big could a win be this weekend?
Yeah, but I don't look further than the first game. I think that's the most important. After that, Arsenal and after Arsenal, Liverpool home are different. And this is a away game, and I think we need really to improve away from home, because it wasn't the best performances in the last few away games.
And that's a wrap for this week. It's the Z-Cars derby, of course, at Vicarage Road on Saturday. The surroundings may be unfamiliar, but the walkout anthem will make the Everton players feel very much at home. By the way, Watford have had Z-Cars since 1963 because apparently it was the then manager's favourite TV programme. So just be glad that Ronald Koeman isn't into Last of the Summer Wine. We've enjoyed your company, as always, this week. From myself and Graham Stuart, enjoy your weekend.